Hey everybody, Fratum here, and tonight we're going to take a look at a Linux distribution that is geared towards the new Linux user. This distribution was created for users who have not experienced Linux yet, or more Windows or Mac users, and this is kind of an introduction to get you into using Linux. It's called Linux Lite, and I read about it earlier today, and I decided to do an install. So we're going to do a fresh install and see what it's like. I haven't tried this yet, so hopefully it works. So we're going to do it in VMware, or VirtualBox, excuse me. And I set up my typical Linux distribution, my Linux image that I like to do. I gave it 8 gigs of RAM. I gave it a 64 gig hard drive, 3D acceleration on, 128 megabytes of memory for the video card. And it should be good enough for this. So we'll go ahead and hit start, and it should boot off of the ISO image for Linux Lite. So it finally came up, and it took a little bit of time to load up, which is kind of interesting considering that I'm, booting off an ISO on my local disk. But still, here's the boot up screen. We have install, updates and drivers, upgrading, hardware recommendations, online support, help manual hardware database, and then you can contribute, donate, and social media. So this is a live distro, and it didn't detect my VirtualBox drivers, which doesn't surprise me. That tends to be pretty typical. So it's the little feather icon here, so we'll go ahead and click on that. I like that feather, really fancy. So select English, continue. Download updates while installing. I kind of like to do that. So we'll hit that. Install third-party software. That's good. Continue. Erase disk and install Linux. That's fine. So we'll go with whatever partitioning schema they want to go with. And hopefully it's not too crazy. But, it's VM. Who cares? Continue. Erase disk, install Linux, and I think it's just on its way to doing it now. Okay, detected my time zone correctly. Continue. English US, it detected that I'm in the United States. I always think it's funny, you select your time zone and then it picks the wrong country for your country code, and it's like, you'd think that it would just default to whatever country you picked for your time zone, but, who knows. Okay, so username, I'm going to go with Fratum. Computer name, Linux Lite. Username Fratum. Set my password, oops. Require password to log in. I'm not going to encrypt, so continue. So far this is very similar to any Ubuntu-based installer, so that doesn't surprise me. And it's installing, copying files. I always like to pop open this just to see what it's doing. And then, of course, I got the slider. Sometimes I think companies are just taking distributions and just retheming them and then giving it a new name. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like. There's so many distros out there now based on Ubuntu that it's like, talk about fragmentation. No wonder people get intimidated by Linux. They don't have any idea what to install. There's too many different options. It's like, you got Ubuntu, you got Mint, you got Linux Lite, you got, all these different distributions. But when you look at them and when you do the install, they look just like Ubuntu install, except for, different graphics for the slider here. But other than that, it's the same stuff. It's kind of weird. I kind of like it when you see distributions that are either unique or based on an obscure distribution that you haven't seen before. You know, I like the ones based on Arch, but now we're starting to see a lot of those. Arch is getting popular. It's the, you know, it's the buzzword in the Linux world. Arch. I'm an Arch user. So, TV shows, movie, TV guide. Linux Lite offers. And they all come with the same stuff installed. So, who knows? As you guys can probably tell, I'm not impressed with a lot of distributions. It's installation, especially that install was actually pretty darn quick. So let's go ahead and restart and see what happens. See if it detects my video card now. If not, I'll probably have to do the guest editions. Nice little splash screen there. I can't remove the medium, so we're just gonna hit enter anyways. Coming up, splash, splash. Ah, full screen. That means that we have love for our video drivers. I don't have to install anything. So enter my password, log in. Oh, XFCE, at least they went to this, and look, the screen resolution dropped back down. Now that's annoying. Why did the login manager detect the proper resolution, but this didn't? That's really kind of weird. Okay, so you get this splash screen every time. We'll turn that off, hit close. Let's see if we can change our screen resolution in the settings. Settings manager. See, this is the typical Ubuntu style settings panel. Looks a little different, but it's mostly because things are just in a little different orientation. Okay, see, it just didn't go to my resolution. It supports it. It just, so it went to whatever it saved it as the default when it did the install. So that's okay. At least it's not freaking out and making it hard for someone who needs to go download drivers. I'm sure if this was a system that wasn't in a VM, you'd probably still need to install, like if you were running a Radeon card, you'd have to install the drivers. But this is still a good sign that it has somewhat of a clue what to do. I like the theming. The icons down here are pretty nice. There's my terminal. How about LX terminal? That's a decent one. I've used it. Let's see what kernel it's using. Hey, it's using a 4.4 kernel. That's pretty cool. Seems like a lot of distros are still in the 3.16 kernel, which is an LTS kernel, so it's kind of nice to see a 4.4 kernel. Debian version, so oops, that was supposed to be cat. So it's running stretch SID, which is I think what Ubuntu 16 something, whatever the latest is running. So I guess we can do sudo. Oops. Man, I am not typing well tonight. And do apt-get update. See if it updated itself during the install. That would be nice. Unable to lock the administrative directory. So there's something running. Probably a package manager. Menu. Favorites. XFCE is a pretty nice window manager. I don't know if I'd switch to it. Settings, accessories. Okay, let's look at, oh, there it is. No, that's the folder. How do you update this damn thing? I don't see the update manager. So, install, oh, duh, it's right here. Install updates. Oh, I'm getting that screen flickering again. As you can see, I still haven't fixed that. I don't know. It's an OBS issue. We will now fetch the updates list. Click yes or no. So we'll go ahead and update it. Couldn't fetch package cache information lists. Okay, so we're running into weird errors. Not sure why. Resources. Okay, let's look and see what comes installed. We'll deal with updating later. Okay, so recently used, install updates, settings manager, all about me, configure your profile and images, accessibility, Adobe Flash Player, ugh. Appearance, so that's probably theming, application finder, archive manager, backups, Bluetooth adapter. I don't even think I have Bluetooth on my computer. Calculator, CD, DVD, burner, documents, downloads. Oh, look, see, they're trying to make it like Windows with my computer. So you can get them home, my documents, downloads, music, pictures, public, templates, videos, settings, accessories, graphics. GIMP comes with GIMP. That's nice. Internet, Firefox browser is the browser choice here. Thunderbird, multimedia, VLC media player. That's good. That's a good thing to have. Office. Looks like LibreOffice. Yep, LibreOffice 5. File. Exit. And system tools. Light software tool to easily install. So this is their tool manager. We will now update your software sources. Is it going to fail again? And that one didn't seem to fail. Why did the updater fail? That's weird. Okay, so here's your software manager. Pretty straightforward. Just not a whole lot here. So like one page of stuff. Huh, weird. But it has Steam, has Wine, play on Linux, that's good. Tor web browser, video editing software, looks like, yeah, OpenShot, VirtualBox, that's what we're running now. Weather monitor. So it comes with some stuff. It's pretty basic. This would probably be a good introduction to Linux for someone just wants to try it out, and I don't think they would get too lost in it. It's using XFCE. It's very Windows-ish with the menus and such, so not bad. I think if I knew someone who's just wanting to get into Linux, and they for some reason just wanted to get out of the Windows world, and this would be a good choice. A good choice. But I gotta ask the question, why not just go with Ubuntu? Why not go with Mint? Why do we need another distribution? I mean, it's not that much easier. I guess it's a light version of Linux because it's got a small footprint. Let's see how much disk space it's using. It's using 4.4 gigs. I don't think Ubuntu's much bigger than that from just a plain install. So, I don't know. What's the purpose? What's the point? What are they trying to accomplish with this distribution? Are they trying to do something different? Or are they just building another distribution for the sake of building another distribution? My opinion on this is this. It's easy to install. It's a quick install. It's pretty. It's XFCE, so it'll run on slower hardware that doesn't need as much resources because XFCE doesn't have a compositor. It's a really lightweight window manager. So maybe for older hardware, it would be a good distribution to run. But, you can install XFCE on other distros. So would I recommend it? Maybe not. Just because it's not really doing anything special or better than what any of the other Ubuntu-based distributions do, and there's just too many of them now. So this is just another one to add to the pot, to add to the confusion, to add, you know, the whole fractured OS of Linux. The nice thing is, even with Linux being spread out like that, at least you know that if it is an Ubuntu distribution, that all they need to do is install the right PPAs and they can have the same exact stuff as any other Ubuntu distribution. So that's at least one thing that's good about the way Linux is doing things. So it's just okay, guys. It's not my favorite. I wouldn't pick it, and I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's pretty, and I would probably, if someone wanted to run a lightweight Linux, I'd just tell them to do Ubuntu with XFCE. I believe there's an install that does it by default. I think it's called Xubuntu. So I would probably just say do that. It's more recognized out there in the communities as a good Linux distribution. So why go with something that no one's really heard of, that doesn't offer anything special or more than what you can get with a well-supported distribution? So that's kind of where I leave it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.